Hello and welcome to Canguro English. I'm Christian.
I'm Laura.
And today we are going to be learning about how to make comparisons in English. Everything you need to know about making comparisons. So how are you today?
Fine.
Yes? So what did you do this weekend?
Yesterday, some friends from Santiago came here and we were visiting Ribera Sacra and having lunch, barbecue.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
very good.
Because here in Galicia, barbecue is, the number one food.
Yeah, it is. And they are from Poland, so they love barbecues.
Wow. Yeah, because in Poland you can't go outside.
Yeah.
Because it's too cold.
It's too cold, yeah.
How do you feel about comparisons at the moment? Do you feel confident?
Yeah, but after your class, it should be better.
Ah, yes, you feel fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's go to the board and we'll study.
Perfect.
Okay. You're a quite intermediate to advanced student.
Yes.
You speak English really well. So probably for you, comparisons, you know about the basic comparisons, right? Like with ER or with more. But there are lots of different types of comparisons. So today we're going to learn about how to compare one thing to all other things, like maybe in a category of things. We're going to learn how to compare two objects, two things, and we're going to compare one thing, but two qualities of one thing. First, we need to look at the different forms of the adjectives and the adverbs. Have you heard about the three degrees of comparison in English?
Yes.
Yes. So we have the positive degree, the comparative degree, and the superlative degree. And usually people explain comparisons using these three degrees. But actually, I find it a little bit illogical and a little bit difficult to understand. So what we're going to do is we're going to use these three ideas, but only as the forms, almost like the conjugation of the adjective and the adverb. And then we will talk about the types of comparisons. So we have three forms and then various types of comparisons. Okay? So let's look at the three different forms. Okay, so here we have the three possible forms of the adjective. So the positive is just the normal adjective, like big. Good. And the comparative form, we would add ER, okay? Bigger. And the superlative form would be?
EST.
Muy bien. Biggest.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. This can change if the adjective has three syllables or more. Okay, so if it has three syllables, like, for example, an adjective which is longer.
Intelligent.
Okay, so let's look at intelligent. So in this case, we don't put ER, we don't say intelligenter. We say?
More intelligent.
Very good. So we say more intelligent. Intelligent. Okay, perfect. And for the superlative?
The most intelligent.
Very good. The most intelligent. Perfect. Okay, so we can see if it's less than three syllables, normally it's like this. And if it's more than three syllables, it's like this. And the same with the superlative. Okay, so here I am editing the video about comparisons, and I realized that I completely forgot to mention something really important. And that is, do not use the double comparison. What is a double comparison? The double comparison is when you use both forms of the adverb or the adjective at the same time. Like, for example, if you say more bigger or most best, don't do this, okay? Use one form or the other, not both at the same time. This is a very common mistake for learners, so try to avoid this. Okay, let's get back to the video. But there are some exceptions, so let's look at the rules for the formations. and then we can start to talk about the different types of adjectives. So these are basically the general rules for the spelling and the formation of the adjectives. So if it's one syllable, generally we add ER or EST. Two syllables, it depends. Sometimes we add ER and EST, sometimes we use more or most. And more than three syllables, yes, generally we use more and most. Another thing, if the adjective is one syllable and ends with a single consonant, then we double the final consonant.
Okay.
So for example, like the adjective before big, where the spelling is bigger. You can see we double the final consonant because it's one syllable. And then we have the irregular forms, like for example, good.
Good. Yeah.
Good. What is the comparative for good? The comparative, yeah.
Well.
No.
Better.
Better, exactly. Good. And the superlative? For example, this is the
best.
The best, exactly. So, and like with all things in language, the adjectives that are the most common are the most irregular.
Yes.
So you have to memorize the irregular ones. But these are general guidelines for the spelling, and of course, because it's English, there are exceptions.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so now let's look at some of the different types of comparisons. Okay. The first type of comparative that I want to look at is when we compare one thing to all of the other things of that type, or all of the other things in that category. Okay. So in this case, we're talking about a pizza. Okay. So here we can use the positive adverb. We can say this is a big pizza. Okay. So why is this a comparison? Because here there's no comparison, but really subconsciously it's big. We think it's big because we are comparing it to all the pizzas we have seen in our life. Okay, but we're not comparing it to a specific pizza. It's the categories of pizza.
Yes.
Right? Or using the superlative form, I can say that this is the biggest, the top of the category. Yes. And then here, using the comparative form, we're using the comparative form, but we're not making a direct comparison. So normally this is used like in advertising, or if we know the context. Like if you say, my car is very good, I say, but my car is better. Because the comparison is in the context. Yeah. Or here in this type of advertising, our pizzas are bigger than other pizzas, than all the other pizzas. Now we're going to talk about comparing two things. It could be two objects, or two categories of things, or two ideas. Comparing two things. Okay. So this is probably the most common type of comparative, where we have the comparative form, and then we say than, and then we have the object. So you are smarter than me. No. Yes. So and one thing to remember, because the construction is very easy, but one thing to remember when you do this is that this is the object position. So you can see here that we're using the object pronoun. Okay. And also something interesting about all of these types of comparatives is that we need to have symmetry in the two halves of the comparison. So for example, if we use a possessive pronoun, like if we say yours is better than, so here because we have possessive, at the end we also need to use a possessive. Okay? So we need to have symmetry. Yes. Or if we use a verb in the gerund, for example, you could say cooking is easier than, I don't know, cooking is easier than
Driving.
driving. Okay, good. Exactly. So you can see that when we make the comparison, we should always have symmetry between the two parts.
Okay.
And as we saw before in the first part, we can eliminate this, and we can have just our the first part of the comparison, if the context is obvious. So the other type of comparing two things is with as and as, and I would call this an equal comparison, because we're saying it's equal or it's not equal, equal, not equal. So can you think of two things that are equal?
Maybe two kind of food.
Okay.
Yeah.
For example, what are two foods that are both delicious?
Lasagna and pizza.
Okay, very good. Two Italian foods.
Yeah.
We can say lasagna is as, so this is the structure. So here we put the comparative.
As delicious.
Delicious as pizza.
Yeah.
And we can see here, so it's an equal comparison. We're saying they're equal. But what's interesting here is that we're using the positive form of the adjective or the adverb. Okay, we don't say as delicious, sir.
Okay.
No, as delicious as pizza.
Okay.
Okay, and we could also use the negative. Like we could say that, for example, grelos are not as delicious as pizza.
Okay.
For example. Okay, so this one I'm going to call a parallel comparison, because what it means is when this one increases or decreases, this one also increases or decreases the same amount. So we could say, for example, the more you study,
the more you learn.
very good. Fantastic, fantastic. So you can see that the structure's a little bit strange, no? They don't have to be the same. Like we could say, for example, the better, or no, the better you study, the faster you learn. So here, we're using the comparative form. You can see with the ER. So in this case, we have to repeat the comparative adjective. The better you study, the faster you learn. Or the more you study, the more you learn.
The same in both. No?
The same form in both, exactly. So again, we have symmetry.
Okay.
Okay. So, and what this means is that when this increases, when we study more, we learn more. Or we could use it negative, for example, the less you study, the less you learn, or the slower.
Slow, yeah.
The less you study, the slower you learn. So this is to talk about things increasing or decreasing together. Okay, one more type. This would be when we're comparing two things, okay? But we're comparing one thing from a bigger category of things. So we want to compare this thing from a category to all of the other things in the category. Like, for example, we can say that, who do you think is a very good actor or actress?
I like Mario Casas.
Okay. Me too.
Really?
Yeah, Mario Casas.
Yes.
C-A-S-A-S?
Yeah.
So Mario Casas is, we can say, something good about him.
Mario Casas is a good actor.
No, but we want to use the comparative form, okay? Because we're
okay.
comparing him to his category.
Mario Casas is
Better.
better.
Yeah, good. Better than any other. I'll put it here. Any other actor. So this type of comparison, we're comparing all of the category of actors in the world, okay? And we're saying that he is the best. So it's similar to the superlative, because we're saying he's the top of the category, but we're using this construction. This construction is different. So now let's look at when we are comparing two qualities, but of one thing. So this is what I like to call a progressive comparison, okay? And it means that with time, something is increasing or decreasing, okay? And the structure is very simple. So we repeat the comparative for extra emphasis. Like we could say, for example, every day it is hotter and hotter.
Okay.
Okay? So we're saying that with time, this is increasing. Okay? Now, in this case, you see we have this form of the verb with er, of the adjective, sorry. But if we have the extra word more, okay, then we use that instead. For example, what is this sentence with a different adjective?
Every day is more and more.
Very good.
More and more beautiful.
Very good. That's perfect. Beautiful. Yeah, exactly. So you can see here that in this case, we're repeating the adjective, but here, no, we're repeating like the little auxiliary that helps make the this form. So this is to say something increasing over time. Okay, and there's one final type.
Okay.
So remember, we're comparing two qualities, but of one thing. So in this case, imagine a friend of yours or a person of yours.
Okay.
And they have two qualities. Okay? Now, we can compare those two qualities to say they have more of this quality than this quality, or less of this quality than this quality. For example, I imagine your friend is called Alba, for example. We can say Alba is more, or we can say less, depending if we want to say this is a higher or lower amount. So we say she's more
intelligent.
Okay, good. Then
Aggressive.
aggressive. Okay, perfect. Very good. That's perfect. So we're saying that she has, the one person, your friend Alba, has more of this quality than this quality.
Yeah.
But we're not comparing two different people. We're comparing the same person. Maybe sometimes you want to increase the power of your comparison, or maybe you want to reduce the comparison to just a little bit. Okay. So here we are increasing the comparison by using much, a lot, or far, and here we are reducing the comparison. Okay. So, for example, I could say Taylor Swift is much better than Shakira. Okay. Or if I want to say it a little bit, I could say, for example, Taylor Swift is a bit better than Shakira. So these are to increase much, a lot, and far, and these are to decrease the far. So, and they would just help you to make your comparisons more interesting. Okay, so now that we've finished learning about them, we need to sit down and play a little game. Okay. Okay. To practice, okay, we're going to do some comparisons with objects we have around the house or in your office, anything. So here I have a red car, and I have a yellow helicopter. Yeah. Because I have a baby, so these are some baby toys. Okay. So let's use some comparatives to talk about these two objects. So, for example, let's talk about speed. Yeah. So what do you think?
The helicopter is faster than car.
The helicopter is faster than the car. Good, good. And what about if we use a type of comparative as to talk about the equality? We can say they're not equal. Yeah.
The car is not as fast as the helicopter.
Excellent, very good, very good. And the superlative, which one do you think is...
The helicopter is the faster, no? The fastest.
Very good, excellent. Now let's use a type of comparison, a parallel comparison, to say that when one thing increases, another thing increases. So maybe with the helicopter?
Yeah. The faster that the helicopter goes, the more afraid I am.
Okay, perfect. Yes, it's a bit like me in the car. The faster the car goes, the more afraid I am. Especially when Georgina's driving. So now let's imagine that the helicopter, okay, is okay, it's taking off.
Yeah.
It's taking off. So we want to say that over time something is increasing. The height is increasing. What can we say?
The helicopter is higher and higher.
Good. So we need a verb before the adjective. Okay. So we could say it's going higher and higher, or it's getting higher and higher. Okay. So
the helicopter is getting higher and higher.
Good. Okay. Fantastic. Or the car is going faster and faster. So now we're going to compare two qualities of this one object.
Okay.
So for example, the car. Can you think of any?
The car is more useful than beautiful.
Okay. Good. Very good. You are a comparative queen.
Yeah, we are.
That was the class about comparisons. So hopefully now you know everything there is about comparisons and you feel very confident about them.
Yeah, of course. I feel much comfortable.
Okay, much more comfortable.
Much more comfortable. Oh no,
Hopefully now you feel really good about your comparisons.
Yeah, I feel much more comfortable.
If you would like to see any more videos about grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, exam preparation, anything, or if you would like to see more of Laura, then don't forget to subscribe to Canguro English. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you too. The best teacher ever.
Thank you, and I'll see you in class. Bye.
Bye.